everybody. Welcome to Hot Shot Sports Talk with Hollis V and Willie G. We got a special guest with us here today. This is Gonzo, straight from Minneapolis, Minnesota. He's a fellow cheesehead, fellow Packer backer, fellow Favre lover. All right. You know, my buddy
How you
Gonzo
doing, Willie?
here, we've been good friends for a while. I'm doing good, man. How are you doing, friend?
It's cool. I'm cool. Just getting off work, ready to talk some sports.
Oh man, oh man. Well, we could jump right into it. We're both Packers fans. We can bring this up. Has Aaron Rodgers solidified first place for the MVP race?
As of right now, totally. But we got 3 weeks left of the season,
Mahomes
and
is
it's
still the
tight.
favorite in Vegas right now. Mahomes is pushing. Mahomes is
They're trying.
pushing. I think it's negative 120 right now, and
Hey, the
Aaron
Clippers
Rodgers
were
is
the
plus
betting favorite
150.
too. Clippers, Clippers were the
Dang.
favorite too. They're trying to get people to bet. It's not about who's gonna win. It's about let's make people lose money.
Absolutely, and if people are betting on Mahomes right now, you're fitting to lose some cash, son. Sorry, Dustin Baldwin, my dude out, down in Anchorage, loves his KC Chiefs, man, but it ain't gonna be Mahomes this year. He looks like he's on a mission. Just looks
Yeah, and
completely different.
he's got a more favorable schedule
Oh
the
yeah,
rest of the year, I think,
oh
for
yeah.
putting up numbers.
We still got a tough game against the Titans.
Yep, but we got one tough game. They got two tough games.
Absolutely. And then also, we hold the number one seed right now. Packers do in the NFC with the tiebreaker over New Orleans. New Orleans has kind of a cookie cutter schedule to finish out the season,
We just got to win out,
right? Who do you think?
and we should. I think if we can stop Derrick Henry, we should win all 3 games. Now,
That's the one thing we're not going to be able to do. Let's just be realistic about that. Our defense hasn't been able to stop the run in 10 years.
uh, we shut down Minnesota week 1. I don't know what happened to that defense, but we shut them down week 1.
I mean, yeah. Cook,
That
yeah,
all-pro
Cook
running
definitely didn't
back
go off. He didn't go off
he
on
had like
us.
64 yards or
Yeah.
something. It was under 100, and I don't know what happened to that defense, but they don't play for us anymore.
Yeah, you know, and it also seems like this year the Packers, like the Smith brothers, are not getting to the quarterback the way they should be.
Zadarius, depending on the game, he's struggling. Thank God we drafted Gary because he's getting some pressure, but he only gets 15 snaps a game.
Right. Yeah. I think that comes with not having a solid middle linebacker. Us getting rid of Blake Martinez after the end of the year, that was maybe we got rid of our leading tackler on the team.
Right, and he probably isn't much better than what we got now.
I think so.
Kirk Sear.
I think he's way better. The guy was always in position to make a tackle. He gave
7 yards downfield. But I've been saying that the Packers have been ignoring the middle linebacker spot for years, and until we stop ignoring it, things aren't going to change. I don't think. I know you can't pay middle linebackers like you used to, and they're not quite as important. But we need a 3-down linebacker to take the defense to a different level.
The prototypical middle linebacker position is the prototypical middle linebacker isn't what it used to be. Okay, because now you need a
No
guy
doubt.
Instead of a guy that's just in there smashing the run nonstop. You got to have a guy that's able to cover a tight end. You have to have a guy that's able
those running backs out of the backfield.
And able to cover a running back and able to smash a running back in a hole. You know what I mean? And how many Palomalus are there out there? And that guy wasn't even a linebacker.
Those guys all want to play offense.
Yeah, exactly.
Those guys all the best. And one of these kids out there, in high school, somebody's going to have to decide they want to be the next Palomalu or, what I was saying the other day, somebody's got to decide that they don't want to be a wide receiver. They want to be the next Deion Sanders. Deion in his pro day on a bum ankle ran a 4.2 back when that was unheard of. People weren't running that low. But
A-
that's why Deion was the athlete that he
And he only
was.
did it once too. He walked off after that. Didn't even give it a second try.
He had a bum ankle.
I mean, oh gosh, dude. Could you imagine like but there are though. So we got YouTubers out there like Destroying. You've seen this guy?
No,
On
no.
YouTube?
I watch a
Oh.
lot of YouTube videos about like video games
Oh.
and
So
stuff, but
I suggest it then. It's Destroying, Destroying, right?
okay.
And so what this dude is he was the college kicker, started a YouTube channel, started making revenue, and they pulled his scholarship, right?
Oh,
He's a kicker. And so
okay.
then he went and got signed in the CFL and was kicking up there. And I mean, dude can kick. And not only can he kick, like, he could probably play wide receiver for some of these teams in the NFL. He could definitely play wide receiver right now for the Houston Texans. Okay. And it's no joke. The guy's got footwork and everything. And so what he does is in his YouTube videos, he goes around to like high schools, college campuses, stuff like that, and does one-on-ones with people. Because dude's blazing fast. Like crazy
Okay.
fast. You never seen a kicker with feet and agility. Like not just like speed, but agility speed. Right? Like this. You never seen a kicker like destroying. And
Sure.
but now he's basically chosen YouTube over professional career in the NFL. Um, he
These YouTube people, they're
might be
making good
making more
money. That's
money.
all
Those
I
Paul
know.
brothers are doing it. Like their combined net worth, the Logan and Jake Paul, I think is like something like 39 mil or something like that. That's insane.
But I mean, there's people just playing video games and streaming that. They got
Well,
100,000 streamers and they don't have a real
Shroud
job.
signed $100 million deal with Mixer. And he was the number one streamer on Twitch and signed $100 million deal with Mixer, and that was after Ninja signed his $50 million deal with Mixer. So yeah, there's some revenue, some profit in all this, and that's why I appreciate you coming on and helping me out, when my buddy's busy and whatnot. That way
Well,
we
I
can
love
keep this
talking
thing.
sports, and it's good to talk
Oh
sports with
man,
an old friend.
absolutely. I can remember the time we ate some mushrooms. This might have been one of the first times I hung out with you, and I even met you. You're staying across from the teepee. I met you at Twister. We both worked like one day together before I quit. Uh,
Yep, yep. Back
and
in the Chaz and Kenny
Chaz
days.
and Kenny days. God, what a horrible mix-up all that business was. But
Well,
I remember eating
that's
some mushrooms with
town
you
politics,
and
man.
going and just basically we talked like Packers for about 4 hours while tripping, and it was amazing. I knew right then. I'm like, oh yeah, I like this guy.
Dude, that cabin across from the teepee, that that was a great cabin. Probably still is. Uh,
It was
I remember one
vertical.
day. Yeah, I remember one day 4 a.m. The mayor just shows up on my porch, and I'm like, yeah,
Stubbsy.
yeah, I like this town. Yep.
Right. Hey, move to your left a little. You're a little off-centered. Yeah, there you go, right there. But yeah, Gonzo and I've been talking sports for shit, a decade now, at least
2011, I moved to Talkeetna.
2011. So in 9 years, jeez, man.
Yep, yep. Uh huh.
And we watched a lot of sports together. We
I
watched.
I uh I wish that I had a little more time to set up. You got that nice Griffey jersey in the background. I got an Aaron Rodgers jersey that probably looked good right about
Oh
there.
yeah,
Somebody gave me that.
I almost forgot about that. That was maybe one of the most selfless gifts I might have ever
It
given
was.
anybody in my life. And I'm not trying to say that to boast myself. It was kind of a sad day and a very proud day when I gave you my autographed Aaron Rodgers jersey as a birthday present. And
It's it's sitting at my mom's house in a drawer because I'm like, okay, I want it to be safe. But what I need to frame it and put it up on the wall right there.
You know, I that was signed the year we won the Super Bowl, 2010.
Okay,
I
okay,
lost the COA to it and everything. My buddy Adam Reinhart, he gave it to me as a gift, you know. And when I was skinnier, I would wear it. I was like, You think I'm not gonna wear this jersey personally?" You know, I'm like, I live in Talkeetna, Alaska. Like, it ain't gonna do me no good on a wall. You know, like I don't have that many friends. You know, just coming over to check out my Packers corner. You know, so I would
sure,
wear it.
yeah,
I would wear it out. People would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, man, it's my jersey. Like, whatever."
right. I'm gonna do whatever makes me feel good.
Exactly, exactly, you know. But then I wound up putting on about fucking 70 pounds, and I could no longer fit into the Aaron Rodgers game jersey. Uh,
Yeah, I remember that was a thing. You're like, well, I can't wear it anymore. You're skinny.
yeah, you know, and it used to fit fine. It used to, and it did. I mean, it was baggy like it's supposed to
Well,
be, and
you slim back down. You probably fit into it nowadays.
yeah, you know, I've actually been losing a lot of weight recently, doing a lot of snow shuffling. Holy FML, dude.
Yeah, it looks pretty snowy up there.
Oh man, we already got 4 foot berms. I mean, you're in Minnesota.
I don't miss. Well, shit, we don't have any snow. We got half a foot
What?
right around a week before Thanksgiving, and then it was 50 degrees for the week after Thanksgiving. It's all
Oh,
gone.
so you guys have green grass just sitting around, all frozen green grass.
Uh, dark green, brown in spots. I
Okay.
know there was snow on the ground when I killed my buck, but like I said, it melted after
Yeah,
that.
congratulations on that, by the way. That was your first buck?
First deer,
Oh, first deer even too, man. Congratulations.
first
That's
deer.
I personally have
Uh,
never shot a buck. I've shot about 7 doe.
I
I've never shot a buck. I get the fever. I start shaking.
well, I didn't have a lot of patience to hunt when I was a kid. I'd go out there for a few hours and no deer would show up and be like, I'm gonna go back to the cabin and read a book or eat some Skittles.
You're
And
like,
that's what
I'm
the,
kind
the,
of
the
over
guys,
this.
yeah, that's what the guys called me when, back in the day, my dad's hunting crew, they'd be like, oh, Skittles is here.
Oh no.
I'm like,
Oh, fuck you guys.
more interested in eating Skittles than hunting
See,
deer.
I always brought a book with me when I would hunt, because you know you let your other senses, your mind, you know, you still got to work your mind out and everything. But you know your ears when you're out and you're hunting caribou, like you know, it's kind of rolly hills and stuff. So you're seeing, so you read a little bit and then you take a gander. But in the woods, man, I could like, yeah.
Well, so I didn't hear that buck because it was about 100 yards away. I was sitting in my tree stand and I'm like, oh, I remember what I don't like about hunting. This is boring. You just sit here and this stand's pointing in the wrong direction. I'm like, obviously, if there was a deer around, it would be over. Oh, grab the gun. The deer was where I said that the
It's
stand
where
should
it
be
should
pointing.
be,
So,
yeah.
right, right. And then my brother's like, well, we hunt 360 degrees around our stand. I'm like, okay, bro.
Sure. I see the hole over here. I'm gonna shoot this way. You guys cool with this? All right, I'm out. Oh man. All right. Well, let's keep talking some sports, man. Let's talk some fantasy. You know, we're both in the same
All right.
Talkeetna Fantasy Football League. We got some heads of state here in Talkeetna that are in on the same league. You know, we got Craigers from Denali Southside. We got Brian Robinson, the brewmaster at Denali Brew Company. We've got is
X.
Oh, is he X? Does he not do that no more?
As soon as the pandemic hit, there was some sweeping changes happened.
Oh, I had no idea. I apologize to him and everybody involved. But
Well, it's a tough time right now in the pandemic. There's nothing we can do about it.
yeah, absolutely. Um, so yeah, he was the brewmaster out at DBC. We got Israel Mahay, owner of Mahay's Riverboat Service. You know, in the league, we got Nate Keys owning bars out in Thailand right now. Um, Yourself?
which I was in Thailand for February this year. That's an awesome plate.
Oh man, you see any sports over there? Rat races?
Uh,
Anything?
no, man. I was pretty busy partying. I got a one of my best friends from high school has 7 party hostels. So
Oh
I was just
goodness.
traveling around and staying at his different
Hey,
party
and
hostels.
the one rule in Thailand is you have to remember that it's a dude with tits and not a chick with a dick. Okay, you just you gotta. That's the rules. Make that distinction.
Well, my thing is that I'm not really into casual experiences, and I'm more of a relationship guy. So I don't have anything to worry about there because I don't. Yeah, that's just me.
Oh, we're just playing around out here. At least we're having fun. Um,
Right.
you know. But we have
So the league,
big things going on in the league right now. I'm playing up against Brian Robinson in the semifinals, and then we got Connor and John Eastwood on the other half of that semifinal. And right now we had Herbert put up 27 points. Keenan Allen got like 2 points, and then the kicker for.
which is kind of shocking because he usually does pretty well.
But he was hurt, and they even said before the game he's gonna play, but he'll play limited.
Sure.
And then Brian also had the kicker for Oakland going tonight, who got 2 field goals and an extra point. So I haven't scored a single point yet. He's sitting at, I think, 37 or 38 points.
It's a good start.
I might have an all-star roster unlike ever seen before in our league. I don't think anybody. I have top 10 in their respective position in all but 2 spots in my roster. That's
That league's really tough because it's so deep. Starting 3 wide receivers and a flex, and we got 12 teams. So
right. We have a small
it's tough to
bench.
have.
We haven't added an extra bench spot yet either. And we only have one IR spot. On COVID year, we only have one IR spot. Like,
Yeah, the thing is who are you going to sign? A lot of fantasy leagues are 10 teams, and you only start 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex.
right.
So right there's a lot bigger names on people, a lot of people's leagues waiver wire. We don't have.
Oh, that's for sure. I mean, I just dropped, a fourth string wide receiver to pick up another four-string wide receiver in this matchup just because I'm like, man, if something happens between here and there and COVID, that's also been the thing this year with fantasy football, is that you really have to be paying attention to who's getting sick and who's getting tested positive because man, that could
So
make and
along the
break.
lines of COVID, though, man, that could really screw up. You're in fantasy football playoffs. Imagine how in fantasy playoffs how COVID might screw things up. How about we talk about real playoffs?
Yeah,
And if COVID,
the implications of half of an offense getting COVID during the playoffs. They're not going to do a bubble. They already said no bubble in the NFL. Um,
okay, if you're gonna be a smart team, though, you better do your own bubble. They can't tell you that you can't do your own bubble.
what you need to do, what they kind of messed it up, I think, a little bit, and they did really well. The NFL's probably did it better than some of the other sports that came out. The bubble with the NBA is doable because it's not huge benches. There's not that much personnel per team. You could fit every team in one hotel, and there's plenty of basketball courts around the city for practice. Okay, that you can make a bubble. In the NFL, there's too many players, too much personnel. You
Well,
know,
the staff's bigger on each team's bigger than the roster on an NBA team.
Aaron Rodgers has a helmet guy and a jacket guy and a hat guy. Okay, 3 people to tend to our guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a jock guy as soon as he hits the locker room. He just as soon as he gets in, he just unties, and off comes his shoulder pads, everything, just like Oh no. That was weird. Ev-
That was sudden and weird.
yeah, hey, mistakes happen.
Yup,
Discord
yup.
Discord was asking us, "Hey, are you still using me?"
We are.
we
Actually, we're a little busy.
yeah, we're in the middle of something over here if you don't mind. Um, but so NFL's got way too much personnel to do something like that. Will they move a game? Will they move the Super Bowl back an extra week? Can they afford to do stuff like that? Or will they just be like, "No,
I
you're
don't
playing
see
without your
how
team"?
you moving the Super Bowl back 1 week is gonna cost you any money.
Um, Rentals on the arena, hotel accommodations, restructuring plane flights. I'm sure there's
There's
money
only
that
like
to be
six, eight
lost.
thousand people that's gonna be at the Super Bowl this year, and they all got money and can afford to do whatever they want.
right.
You know, like,
One day you and I will be at a Super Bowl.
yeah, just not this year.
No, if you're
Because
still in Minneapolis and they bring it back up there to the frozen north again,
no, I don't want to go to Minneapolis Super Bowl. All right, because it's February. I try to leave Minneapolis every February because
yeah, not if the Super Bowl's in
not
town.
the. I want to go to a Super Bowl in Miami. All right, I want to go to a Super Bowl in New Orleans.
Ah,
All right, that's the Super Bowl we need to go to, bro.
yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. I mean, first we got to get through the Rona before that's even a real possibility. But
That's like that jersey you gave me. That's from Super Bowl 45. Well, I watched Super Bowl 45 in Hawaii. All right,
oh man,
that's what I'm talking about for February.
I watched it. I was sitting in the Fairview, so I walked into the Fairview at noon. Game's not even slated to start. I think not till like 1:20 kickoff. It's like a midday kickoff, something like that. And I walk in and Rodney's bartending, and I've got a pack of Oreos in my hand. I'm head to toe, dressed to the nines, Packer gear. You know how I get. And I say, Rodney, a Crown Royal, please. And he hands me a Crown Royal, and I dunk an Oreo in there. I was like, oh, that's delicious. And he's like, shit, I need to try that. Pours himself a shot of Crown Royal, and we toasted Oreos and Crown to a Packers win. So I tell you, we get back in the postseason in on this run. I'm gonna go full out Oreos and Crown Royal. Just get it.
Sounds like a great idea.
Oh man, every Sunday this postseason, I will be eating Crown Royal and drinking Oreos, or the opposite way around.
But I mean, you can't really say we. Obviously, we're going to the playoffs, but any team, if they lose their starting quarterback before a playoff game, you're at a huge disadvantage. I mean, imagine a team gets in the playoffs and then their starting quarterback gets a false negative like Des Bryant did for the Ravens.
Who's the backup for Tom Brady right now? Nobody even knows.
Not, no, I don't know.
I have no clue. But Tom Brady goes down, they make the playoffs, right? And Tom Brady goes down with COVID. They stand zero chance to win that game. I mean,
I
I
that
guess we could
that
have some crazy
offense,
miracles
that
like back in the
offense, come
70s.
on, yeah, that offense, come on, anybody's got a shot.
Ronald Jones is out, had surgery on his hand. So I think teams are also this brings up a point. So I think teams are using the COVID list as an extra IR designation because it's only a week or a 10-day designation instead of the 3-week IR designation. And so Ronald Jones just had pins put in his hand to fix something in his pinky. He broke his pinky pretty bad. So
Yep,
he had pins
yep.
put in, right? And they were already talking, oh, well, is he going to sit it out or is he going to play through it, right? Which he could have. And next thing you know, today he gets put on the COVID list, meaning he hits the IR, but he can come back in 10 days.
Yep. Yeah,
And they
he just
can
missed one
re-roster
game.
a guy, and I'm like, man, that seems shady as all hell. They're abusing. It seems like they're
All you got to do is
abusing the
he came
COVID
into
list.
contact.
Yeah, exactly. He's negative, but he came into contact with somebody. Nobody on our team. We're not gonna fine him because we can't tell you where he
Well, it could
did
have
it
been a
at.
ball boy. Could have been a ball boy or something, you
Oh
know?
my gosh. But you see, that's what I say. So it's getting abused a bit and I've noticed a couple of the IR designations for guys that were already like slightly injured, you know? Oh, speaking of slightly injured, Derek Carr pulled his groin tonight bad on a scramble out to his right. He could have darted in for a touchdown and he made a little shimmy move and he pulled his
Shake
groin
and bake.
bad. And Marcus Mariota came in and played well. Played like really well. They lost in OT,
Well, that's why you keep a good backup though.
and I mean, Carr and Mariota are not the same type of quarterback.
Right, but you saw Red Rocket come in for Dallas when Dak got hurt in that first game, lit
Oh
the Giants up. And then, oh, well, now that we know the Red Rocket's going to be the starting quarterback, he hasn't really lit anybody else up like that.
no,
And the Giants got a good defense.
yeah, they do, and who's gonna win that NFC East? Like,
No
uh,
one cares.
Washington has a chance to do it with a winning record. That's something.
Or at least 8-8. Or
I
at
mean,
least 8-8.
they could go 9-7 right now. Uh, I didn't think
That's
that.
not going to happen.
I know. I didn't think that. I'm trying to say it with a straight face.
But they could
Um,
go 8-8, and that's better than 7-9.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, how do you feel about the new playoff format? We're 7 teams. It
That
hurts.
that number
It
one
makes
seed's real
it's
important.
really important. You want that bye. Oh, do you want that bye? Because not only that,
But
you're guaranteed to play
honestly,
the worst person left in the postseason.
I think that this year they should really just have a bye for everybody. And sorry about that.
Oh, good.
just
People,
wild cat.
people love the kitties, man.
Sure. Uh, I- how? So say the Steelers, they played 4 games in 19 days. That's not fair. That wasn't their fault that other teams were having COVID problems, so they had to keep delaying these games. That's not fair to them.
Should we give them the picks from the teams? Like what? Like should they be
Oh,
given the?
now you're talking.
Yeah, the teams that
Because
violated the rules and had picks taken from them. I believe it was the Raiders and there were two teams that had picks taken from and New Orleans.
did Denver get
No, I thought it was maybe
uh
maybe. But yeah, at least two teams were fined $500,000. Coaches were fined $500,000, and they had picks taken from them. Why would we not
didn't Gruden get fined twice?
Yeah, the Gruden
Yeah.
got fined.
Yeah.
This I think a solid 750K so far for violations. But why would we not give a team who was slighted? Okay,
Right.
by
Or
that
putting at a big
a
disadvantage.
big disadvantage, one if not both of those picks that were taken away. Don't take a young man's dream away in the draft because now that position's all of a sudden just gone in the draft.
Right. You just have two less
Two
people getting
less
picked.
exactly. And so yeah, and that could be the next Tom Brady getting drafted in the 6th round, 7th round. They both were seventh
Donald Driver
rounders. Yeah, exactly. You know,
drives the greatest Packers receiver in all time, drafted in the 7th round. I mean, that was a pretty good pick back in the day.
man, I've been watching some good stuff about old Aaron Rodgers videos. I've been trying to hype myself up for the MVP run. He's about to go on.
Sure.
And I was watching a video on Donald Driver, and they asked him a question of, "Hey, when do you think Aaron Rodgers really figured it out as a quarterback?" And he tells a story about how uh, they're playing a game. They just lose to Minnesota, um, for the second game of the season. You know what I mean? 2017, something like that. 2000, no, earlier than that, way earlier than that. Regardless, so they're playing Minnesota, they lose, and after the game he says, "Hey man, you need to take control of this team, and you need to take control of our offense right now because we're on your shoulders." Is where before he said he felt Aaron Rodgers came in, had a lot of veterans around him. You know what I mean? Was very talented, throw the ball wherever he wanted, but wasn't that guy. He wasn't the it factor yet. And the very next day in practice, Aaron Rodgers gets into the huddle, and guys are jibber jabbing and talking, and Donald Driver's talking in the huddle, and he says, "Shut up!" and looks right at Donald Driver and gives him like the "shut your face, dude. I'm trying to call a play here." Look,
Right.
to maybe one of the most prolific in
Well,
recent
like, hey, you
history
told
players.
me, so
You
here you
told me,
go.
and instantly huddle, and he said that was the moment that Aaron Rodgers decided he was gonna take over the Packers. And you get a guy like Donald Driver to instill that in players. I think that's why you have this lineage of good and great receivers coming out of nowhere because it starts with a guy like Donald Driver, and even before that, running through from receivers to Donald Driver, um, and he passed it down to some of these guys who he had a chance to play with, the Cobbs, the Nelsons, the
James
Joneses,
Jones,
yeah, exactly.
tough wide receiver.
And throughout these practices, we got the Equiminius St. Browns, these guys drafted third, fourth, fifth round, that kind of just taken the Geronimo Allisons, taking that information, and they weren't the highest pick guys ever, Randall Cobb was. He was expected to be
Second round
great.
pick.
Dude, when he got drafted, I was just like, yes, we
I,
scored.
I remember
We
that.
scored.
Yeah.
Best draft pick of the draft. Nobody could draft better than us this year. Um,
You know, people say that Jordan Love, oh, well, he lit a fire underneath Aaron Rodgers this year. I think that we probably could have used that pick a little better on anything. D line, linebacker. Uh,
well, what
you
I've
don't
been
even have to go wide receiver
I've
like people
been
are saying.
realizing Aaron Rodgers isn't this conceited guy like everybody thinks that he is. There's been this connotation surrounding him and little cloud following him around like, oh, he's this guy that thinks he's better than fucking everybody else. Well, gifted wise and playing the game of football, he is. Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Nobody makes the throws that he does. Nobody could consistently does it. And so yeah, when you're on top of the mountain,
Mahomes.
yeah, he's the only guy in that
But he's got
conversation.
to prove it he can do it for a long time.
Hey, and they'll dap each other up, but I guarantee you Mahomes is putting Rodgers here and Rodgers is putting Mahomes here. Now Mahomes may say I can do everything that Aaron Rodgers can do and more, okay, but he's still gonna hold him up here out of respect and honor to himself, the game, and the position.
Well,
But
and he's
when it
got to prove
comes,
it over time like Rodgers has.
absolutely, you got to be good in, year out, make the postseason, and Mahomes is doing it. Uh, Andy Reid is doing it. And they're doing something special out there. It's fun to see.
Right.
And if we can next year maybe draft better, we could be in the Super Bowl with those guys. I believe
We can make
like
it this year.
like it's
We can make it this
Cleveland
year.
versus the Bay Area Beach Boys, okay? I'm sorry, man.
Right.
That team was just, dude, you paid for four best players in the world. Four of the five best players are playing on your team because you paid for them. Oh gosh, I basketball disgusts me like that. Okay.
Thankfully Durant went to the East Coast now, so you just
They
don't
sh-
have the Warriors.
there's an easy fix for it. There's a real easy fix for it. Take your max contracts down from 3 to 2.
Well, they
Well,
massaged things that year, and it'll never happen again because superstars will never take,
but
and
that's
do the things that they had to.
but that's what I'm saying. So if you take that and you say, hey, now instead of having 3 max contracts in the NBA, now your team's only allowed 2, and your next best contracts here. We're lowering the cap limit. We're not going to allow you to do that anymore because we want parity across the league. This is bullshit that these teams are out here completely struggling just because you're a big market.
Well, and it's not just the big market thing.
Yeah,
Stars
because
only
the
want to
Knicks
play with
suck.
stars. Yeah, right. So it's not just a big market. It's that stars only want to play with stars. And
Right.
since the Knicks haven't been able to draft and develop a star, nobody's going there because they don't want to change the fortune of the franchise.
Well, I mean, and now we just got a crazy new contract from our dude in Milwaukee,
My boy in
the
Wisco.
Greek freak,
Yeah,
man. Dude is,
Giannis.
dude. I wish I could say his last name. Don't want to do it disrespect, so I'm not gonna try. Um, but
I can say Giannis.
yeah, the guy was twice voted athlete of the year at the ESPYS. Okay, that in and of itself says something. In my opinion, you're talking of the athletes when you're voted athlete of the year and you're 6'11" or whatever the crap he is.
Yeah, I think he's officially listed at 6'10", but he
It's
plays like he's 7 foot, no doubt.
it's insane. The guy, and he's good, and he is an
But I
athlete.
mean, for the record, he plays like a 7 foot big and not like a 7 foot Dirk Nowitzki. Like he
Absolutely,
really needs to work on his shot
yeah, yeah. But
if he's gonna be the guy.
oh man, got to bring a championship home. Got to bring a championship there. Uh, that's what it ultimately boils down to. But they'll be in it. They'll be in the hunt for years to come. Um,
Oh yeah.
you mark my words.
Well, he's young too.
AD will sign with them if he's still there. AD will move on from the Lakers when LeBron is gone. And
Sure,
if you
sure.
could get AD in there and maybe an aging Kyrie at that point, you then have the makings for something
Or
special.
maybe they actually draft and develop somebody. It's possible.
Yeah,
Like Draymond
absolutely.
Green was a second round pick.
Absolutely. So we've been talking about this kid out of Nome. I don't know if you saw any of our previous episodes.
I have, and that's interesting. I didn't realize that he was signed with the Warriors. I had heard about him in the
Yeah,
past. I didn't
so
realize the Warriors
he
signed him.
signed with the Warriors and then signed, but he also signed a contract in the Australia League. So it's a draft and
Right.
stash pick for the Warriors. The guy's 6'7". Uh, they say maybe the best shooter in the draft, which is crazy to think. Um, just a pure shooter. And you're like, okay, well now you got a guy that's gonna go over to Australia, get some competition, some real good competition in Australia. It's
Hit that
better,
weight room.
yeah, hit the weight room. It's better than the D League, just getting bumped around and pushed around. You know what I mean?
And that's like a real professional league in Australia. They got real grown men, where the D League's a lot of
A
kids.
lot of kids. Yeah, yeah, that's just it. Yeah, the Australian League is it's man's ball.
Yep.
It's a lot like the
Yep.
Chinese league, dude. It's a man's basketball league. And so, and we're all kind of rooting for him up here. I was a little bit of a fan being from Boise State, so that was pretty cool. Uh,
Right. Right.
but
I've always known you to be a Boise State fan. Why do you watch Boise State? Is it just close to
so
Alaska? So
nah, so I lived in Boise. I moved down to Boise. I left Talkeetna
okay.
when I was 14 and a half. My parents are split, so I went down there. We didn't have high school hockey in at Sioux Valley. It was maybe
Okay.
probably one of the biggest travesties in Talkeetna sports. This is no joke. Everybody went to go play basketball, and we had incredible hockey players.
Sure.
Zach Mannix, Chris Birdsall, uh, the Rockensteins, male and female too. Margaret Maxiner, she was an amazing hockey player. Mike Dinkenwalder, her older brother, Judah, Israel Mahay, Noah Mahay. We actually had really, really good hockey players, and then once we got to a certain age, there was nothing more. Um,
Okay.
and I was fortunate enough to get out. My dad was living in Boise, and so at the time, and so I went down there and was playing high school hockey. I was like, oh, hey, there's high school hockey. Okay, sweet, I'm in. And so that's where my travel hockey really started. And the first, I want to say, yeah, it was the first year there, 1999. Um, Boise State enters D1 football. Maybe it was 98 they entered, and then 99 they got their first bowl game. But the Humanitarian Bowl at home, and my dad got me tickets because I'd never been to a college football game. I'd been to a couple pro games with him when I was littler. And we went to this bowl game, dude, and it was wild, dude. Those kids knew how to party. Man, they
College
knew
football is amazing.
yeah, it's something else.
Even if it's like D3, those kids are wild in the stand. The stands are crazy, and yeah, those kids are playing hard out there.
Oh yeah. Oh man, we're getting a little bit of latency on your video for some reason, really odd. But don't worry about it. Um, but yeah, no, it's nuts. And so they won that game. It was actually really cold. The fog was rolling in off the Boise River there. And yeah, so I just kind of fell in love. And then I also, my sophomore year of high school there, I had um, a physics teacher who did night courses of physics at the college. And I was a little bit of ahead of the other kids in class, and he invited me to go into the school and sit in on his classes and learn extra. And I was like, heck yeah, if that means that I can get in and go hang out at the dub and, get into like the student areas. And he's like, yeah, we can get you a student ID. And I was like, sweet, awesome, that was pretty much it. I just like fell in love with Boise State. I was never like enrolled there or anything like that, but being able to
Okay.
go in and be on campus and get into his classes, I just felt a part of it. Watched football games there for a while. The blue turf. You have that crazy memorable game against Oklahoma and Adrian Peterson. Um, you know,
The blue turf is quite memorable.
Yeah, and when that's your first game too, seeing it on the blue turf, it's hard not to fall in love with it, you know?
Totally. Do you
Uh,
know why the turf's blue, by the way? I guess I never thought about it. It was just always kind of weird. I'm like, oh, it's
I I
Boise.
I think when they decided to have a football team, a D2 football team, there was like no regulation against the colored turf. There was the school up in Washington, the D2 school out in Washington that had the crimson turf.
Okay.
And so they were like, "Oh, I think we're just gonna do this." And then when they entered D1, they made a couple special regulations on the what jerseys they could wear, but when they entered the Mountain West, they really implicated some real. You're not like we're not allowed to wear the jerseys that match the turf in home games
Okay.
in conference.
Okay.
In conference games, we're not allowed to match jersey to turf. Out of conference games, yeah, screw the out of conference teams. You can do whatever you want. But when we entered the Mountain West, they're like, no, you're not allowed to match turf in conference games. Which was, I mean, it's sneaky.
Well, and it makes a difference. You can see on that green turf in Lambeau when we got our grass green, you know,
Oh yeah, and
it's a nice blend.
absolutely. What's your favorite Packers jersey, by the way? Which one's your personal favorite?
I mean, if I had to pick one all time, Reggie White,
Oh,
92.
Oh, you
Or
go with the number. I'm talking like style of jersey, era of jersey.
oh,
What's your favorite? Is it that mid
I mean, I really
90s?
love those blue throwbacks.
Yes, that's
Just the
exactly what
Acme.
with the circle, the Acme
Yup.
circle, the gold pants with the blue top. It has the
Well,
circle
I
with
don't
the
like. I don't
number.
really like the pants. The pants are disgusting.
No.
But the jerseys pretty tight.
Oh man, I like the whole thing top to bottom. That's gotta be my
Okay.
favorite one too. No joke. Um, all-time favorite Packer? You who would your all-time favorite Packer be? Are you saying Reggie?
It's got to be Reggie. It's got to be Reggie. And if it's not Reggie, it's Gilbert Brown.
Oh my
You know,
goodness,
like
you going for the big boys. And Reggie, definitely one of my all-time favorites. For me, it's Favre.
his autobiography is one of my favorite books for sure.
Really, I've never read
I
it.
It's really good. It's really good, and he just it taught me a lot about football as a young man, and it taught me stuff about life too. Reggie, I'm not a big religious guy. God was a big thing in Reggie's life,
Absolutely
and
was.
but you know, he had a good way of balancing it. I thought.
Yeah. His 30 for 30 that they did was one of the best in my opinion. It was like the pastor or something like that. Man, that was
The
holy
the Reverend,
the
I thought.
Reverend. Yeah.
Uh,
They
Reverend Reggie White.
they did a great ode to him, and how much he loved his teammates and both in Philly and Green Bay, you know. Couldn't have been a more happy guy chasing you down to rip your head off, you know.
Well, but also dominant. Like maybe the only player that I ever have seen, I didn't get to see him because it was before my time, but as far as dominance, beating the guy in front of you would be LT. Bruce Smith ended up with the sack record, but Bruce wasn't as dominant as Reggie. Reggie would just
You
ragdoll
think that
guys.
Strahan was more dominant than Reggie? I don't think so. Some people think so. I don't think so.
No, no, not at all.
I
Not
don't.
at all. Reggie
Nobody
could take
he
guys and just flip them,
and he
and they'd
was
be gone.
easily dealing with double coverage off the line and pushing his gap regardless.
Yup, yup.
That
And he
was
wasn't just a sack master; he played the run too.
everything. Yeah, he was definitely your four down guy. That was your
Where Strahan, I feel like he was more just a pass rusher.
Yeah, he's a stats guy. Seemed like more of a stats guy as opposed to the team guy.
I mean, you gotta love Brett, even though he betrayed us. Uh,
um
but it was real shame to give Strahan that sack record.
just
And
laying
I
down
saw
like
that
that was kind of
you
freaking
roll
weak.
out and you slide down. It was just weak.
To Brett's credit, I mean, he played through a lot of injury, and you got Strahan coming off free.
Yeah, I mean, I might do the same thing.
How
But
bad
but
is your
have you
ankle?
ever
How
seen?
bad is your ankle feeling today, Brett? You're not outside of the pocket. You can't just throw it away. So he's smart quarterback. You can't just throw it away. Hey, if your ankle's hurting you today,
But did you ever see Brett Favre ever do that with any other player?
no, and that could have also been out of a mutual respect. He was gonna get him anyways. He just better to do it without getting fucking annihilated. Okay,
Right.
because really
Yeah.
Strahan was cut free on that one,
Oh
and
yeah. No, he was unblocked. It was
and
just him and
in an
Brett.
in an
Open
era where you could
space.
still whack a quarterback in the head, in an era where you can
But he
land.
didn't give him a pump fake. He didn't try nothing. He's like,
No,
because
he's got
how many times?
the gap on his teeth is this big, but his arm span is like this big, bro. Okay?
Well, yeah, no, I understand he's a scary man.
he's as bad.
But you're not gonna give him. I mean, you seen Brett and Aaron. They got a free rusher. They try all sorts of stuff.
Do
Brett
you
was just like, nah,
the similarities between Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers are so unreal, Gonzo.
until you talk about interceptions.
Well, no. Even then, when Aaron throws up an interception, it's a Brett Favre, bro. Okay.
Well,
You
most of
the game a couple weeks ago where he threw the two interceptions and the one for the pick six, bro.
yeah.
You can't tell me those aren't Brett Favre's. That, that
Well,
that's a hope and a prayer. I'm just throwing this thing. Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Now,
The second for the record though, the second, and Brett had plenty of these because he threw such hard lasers. The second one wasn't Brett's fault that bounced, or Aaron's
Aaron's
fault that
fault.
bounced right off.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't Aaron's
And
fault. It
how many
bounced right off
times
the
did that
receiver's
happen to
hands.
Brett Favre in his career? I would say Brett
Them
Favre probably has
fastballs, man.
60 interceptions that were hit his receiver first.
Right, but Aaron said himself, "I'm gonna try to hit 500 touchdown passes before I hit 100 interceptions."
I hope he does.
And he might. He might. If you look at his pace, it's gonna happen right around the same
Well,
time.
I tell you, I'm excited because what him and LaFleur got going on right now is seems just about as magical as you could get. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, and I think a big part of it is that this is gonna sound weird, but the demand to run the ball from you know the head coach.
yeah,
Where McCarthy, we see, he goes down to Dallas. You got that stud running back. You got a couple of good ones. And let's throw the ball 40, 50 times with the Red Rocket, let alone Dak. Like
yeah.
just complete ignoring the run from McCarthy.
I mean, and I think he's partially to blame for Dak's injury.
Right, right.
That style of play
Where
forcing him.
LaFleur wants to run the ball though, and it's important.
It's
Where
it,
that's
it
where I think.
yeah, it's an old school mentality. You run the ball to throw the ball. You know what I mean?
But you look at Brett's best year in Minnesota, they ran the ball, and then in his best year in Green Bay, they ran the heck out of the ball with Amon Green, and he had a career low in interceptions, I think, that year too.
Right.
So run the ball, just do it. It's going to keep your quarterback healthy, if nothing else.
Yeah, because
It
when he's taking less hits, he's not having to run as much. He's not rolling out as much.
keeps your
Uh,
defense fresher.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um,
So
now,
here's the question: speaking of running the ball, which running back are we going to sign long term? Because you're not going to be able to afford
oh,
both of
I've
them.
been talking about this to people all the time. We cannot
I
keep
know.
Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones
And
unless
Jamal Williams is going to cost a lot less money.
unless we restructure Aaron's contract. If Aaron's getting paid, right? And he should get paid. But
Right.
what
Right.
did the greatest quarterback of all time do to
You mean the
get
most
his
winningest quarterback of all time?
what did the greatest quarterback of all time do to obtain his 6 Super Bowls?
He
So
didn't
one
take a bunch of money all the time.
he
He took
took a
discounts.
lot of discounts, okay? And then decided, hey, you know what? I did so well, and because of the discounts, I didn't get hit as much, and I was able to take care of my body, and I was still able to go get paid at 42 years old, which is 5 years away. Aaron Rodgers could still do that. Take
Oh,
your
no
pay.
doubt.
If he takes his pay cut now and we go win 3 Super Bowls, there's no
Then
question.
Mr.
There's
Brady isn't the
isn't the
greatest
goat
quarterback of
anymore.
all time
No,
anymore.
Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers could have
then it's
4,
Aaron
and Brady
Rodgers.
could have 6, and Rodgers
And,
would be the greatest of all time. But he's just not until. Um, I, most mechanically sound, best football player to ever lace up cleats. Yeah,
poor footwork by Mr. Rodgers. But yeah, that arm makes up for it.
Aaron Rodgers has led the team in rushing in years past. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, but that's on McCarthy, I think. And one of the reasons that Aaron dealt with injuries because he was
Gosh,
throwing the ball 50 times a game.
dude, I miss just shooting the shit and talking bullshit Packers with you. It's so good.
6:30 in the morning, sitting at
Oh
Twister.
my gosh.
You know,
Yeah, just
luckily I had keys.
well, yeah, we had to watch the games. Gotta watch those games. Oh my goodness, man.
Man, I miss Talkeetna. All
Oh,
right, like
dude, I
I
remember
miss.
you came out and visited and walked all the way out on the lake to come say, hey, that was
Right,
awesome, dude.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. When you gonna come up and visit us again?
Well, I wanted to come up this year, but the COVID. I could have came, but then they want you to quarantine forever before you go, which makes
Right.
sense. I'm down with but I don't have time to quarantine for for 2 weeks
Right.
or whatever,
Hey, man.
and then
Yeah,
so
no, you're
yeah,
not
no.
gonna be able to take a whole month off.
Well, I mean, I took February off this year, and I will take February or March or April. I will take a month off this year.
But you're not going
As
somewhere
soon
cold,
as
huh?
well, it's not. What I was thinking is that next winter, I would come up to Talkeetna in probably February because I just miss it now and spend a couple weeks up there.
Right.
But I want to go to Talkeetna because I keep going to Talkeetna in the winter, and that's great because you get to actually talk to people, instead of the summer when everybody's so
Hustle
busy.
and bustling, yeah, exactly. They just want to go party and get drunk, and you don't even.
But still, I'd like to be in Talkeetna in the summer too because I lived there for 5 years and I worked. All I paid attention to was really in the summer was work. I worked my life away. I didn't ever enjoy the summer in Talkeetna, and it's so beautiful there.
Right. I appreciate that. We love it here. I know you love it here. Well, we're kind of wrapping up. We're getting to the end of this hour here.
Cool.
Anything else that you want to bring up? You rooting for anybody in particular in our fantasy league?
Oh no, I love all you guys.
Oh man,
So
can't even get the
I can't.
support.
Well, you know, I
You
hope that a
had
Packer fan wins it.
you
I
did
hope a Packer fan wins it.
you kind of did do me a solid when you dropped the Rams defense on their bye week.
Well,
I swooped in
I
on that with my waiver pickup, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I started looking at the rest of the games of the season. I got semifinals right now. I got the Rams versus the Jets, and
right, yeah, it's a good thing. It's a
they
good
put
thing.
up 20 points last week.
My thing with the defense, unless I get a real good one, which Rams is good, but not like, I mean, good like Ravens top five of all time. You just can't drop that defense. You
No,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Uh,
no, it's not
a
that
lot of
good.
times with it, yeah. Or if I never got the Legion of Boom defense because somebody I know, kind of drafted them every year. But
Yep. Hey, I'm
if
not
you have
even,
a
and
defense
that's
like
why
that,
people even in our league think I'm a Seahawks fan. I'm like, dude, I hate the Seahawks. Yeah, I rep the Mariners. I love the Mariners, but the Seahawks, bro.
right?
Okay,
Well, you know,
and but their defense was that good.
you just don't drop that team. But
No, they're getting 3 sacks a game, 2 sacks a game, an interception.
maybe a score or
Maybe,
two.
yeah, it was outrageous. Legion of Boom was
And with
unstoppable,
Harvin, he might have, Percy could was a
running them back.
legit threat to,
Yeah.
take one to the house on the returns.
Dude, so I watched the Run the Table video. Have you watched that movie
Okay.
on YouTube, Run the
No,
Table?
no, I haven't.
Oh my
I'll check it out
gosh.
though.
It's a good 30-minute video, and it starts off with the game that we lose against Washington. It's like 45-24, something like that. We just got our
Okay.
doors kicked in by Washington.
Uh-huh.
And then Aaron Rodgers afterwards says, "Hey, I think if we focus on the next game and we go and play the next game, think we could run the table." And
Well, so hold on. We haven't talked about a couple things tonight.
oh,
We haven't talked about. I think it's a big deal that Cleveland's changing their name. You know,
Oh,
you
are
just
they
mentioned
changing
the
their
foot.
name?
They're changing their name. It hasn't been announced, but they're now no longer going to go by the Indians.
Oh,
Um,
oh, the Cleveland Indians. Oh, I thought you were
oh, I'm
talking about
sorry.
the Browns.
No, no, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the Cleveland Indians.
Oh,
They're
okay.
not. They're not going to go by the Indians anymore because kind of the same thing as the Washington football team.
What are they going to be called?
Uh, well, they haven't announced it yet. They're not going to go by. They're not going to go by the baseball team.
The
But
the TBDs.
but they're going to change their name, which
That's a good move in the right direction. I like that. You
but
know.
the football kicker Sarah
Oh, Sarah
what was her
Fuller.
last name?
Yeah, we need to talk about Sarah Fuller, kicker for Vanderville. First female to score a point in the Big Five conference. So,
Right, right,
uh, and she got her chance because of COVID. They went and sought her out. It wasn't a publicity stunt of her trying to get in or anything like that. She just won a national championship for soccer. Um,
right.
and you look at her kicks and they're a little low, they're a little flatline. They're going through.
Right, and you can work on that.
Yeah, leg
In
power, you
soccer, you're
can't.
trying to keep it under the goalpost.
Yeah,
It's
you can't teach the power of kicking. Like you either got that or you don't.
right.
You know what I mean? And the accuracy and stuff like that. Yeah, man. How would you feel about seeing her in the NFL?
Oh well, the team right down the road from me, Dan Bailey's on notice.
Ah,
you know,
I put out a post on Facebook the other day about that. I said, and then
R-
Bailey's now looking for a new job because, gosh darn, he was
well,
horrible. Sign up Sarah
you know,
Fuller
right, exactly.
right
The thing
now.
about that, yeah, well, they might have playoff chances that he might screw up. He's going into that game. He was the fifth most accurate kicker in NFL history, but there's a reason Dallas cut him. He
Yeah,
misses big kicks. He can't handle the pressure or something.
we almost had that same thing happen to our stud kicker. Almost lost some faith in that guy. But
Well, he
Aaron
had a
Rodgers was that guy who said, "Hey, hey, yo, get off my guy's shoulders here. We got to put up points too. He's allowed to miss a
it.
few."
Well, it was crazy though to miss. I mean, we're talking about the Detroit game where he left like 15, 18 points out on the field. You never see kickers miss indoors. It wasn't even a big game. It was like the most curious case of missing a kick because it's not a big
It's not a
game.
pressure
It's not a.
situation. No.
All of a sudden, he was just like, "Oh, I'm not going to make field goal kicks." But that 58 yarder that he just hit last weekend, that's good from 63. That's pretty good from a late 30s field
Bailey,
goal kicker.
I tell you what, Bailey, when you watch that game and you watch him making those misses, um, it looked like he didn't want to make those. And
His body language was very poor.
yeah, it looked like somebody said something to him on the sidelines, right? And every time after that, he went out there was like, okay, watch this dickwad. Go f yourself. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's exactly what it looked like to me. Like, man, somebody said something to him on the sidelines, and it wasn't a team captain. Team captain comes over and says something to you, you kind of listen. But if it's some jerk off backup comes over and says, "Oh, nice kick, nice miss, beep 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 beep," like he'd be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we'll go watch this, buddy." Ta-ta.
Well,
Oh, wide
and
left. Meh. I'm
everybody
still the
knows
fifth
that you
most
don't
accurate.
talk to the field goal kickers. All right, you leave them alone. They're just over there. You don't talk to the kickers or the punters. Let them do
You
their
see,
thing.
and that's kind of like the mentality with a pitcher in baseball. You let the pitcher just do his thing. He's gotta have his routine, and that's what I think I like about Pat McAfee was he wasn't like that. He was the guy like, yo, I want a little bit of spotlight, and I want to party with my teammates. He's always talking about AQ Shipley and him being like drinking buddies and partying buddies, and
Right,
having a
right.
beer with Al Davis and shit like that. Like,
Well, speaking of a kicker that liked to party, you know, another traitor, Ryan Longwell used to, get drunk
yeah.
in the country bars with Favre,
Yeah,
out,
him and
out
Favre
in the
used to
woods. And
like to go out and just sit in the middle of nowhere, drink beers, just get smashed.
what you just
Probably eating a
called him,
bunch of
that's it.
painkillers.
Brett's like, hey, you want a couple Vikes?
Yo, a few
But
bites, some
that's
Akis.
interesting though that Aaron calls him Farvey. Now, like that was a real icy relationship.
Well, you know why he calls him Favre? Because Brett Favre and who was the other backup with him? Um,
Doug Peterson,
yeah,
or which backup?
no,
Because he had a
Harold.
lot of backups.
All of them. I think it was, yeah. So they were not nice to Aaron Rodgers. They picked on him. They
Okay,
literally hazed him and picked on him all the time in the locker room. They were not good to Aaron Rodgers early in Aaron Rodgers' career. I
that
think
doesn't
Favre
surprise me.
felt it was right to feel threatened. Obviously, this kid comes in, he can make every throw you can make. He's younger version of you, more mobile. You know what I mean? Yes, you got the clout and you've got the standing. It's your position till you leave. It's what we pretty much told him.
But clearly not. That's not actually what happened.
No,
But Favre was waffling.
um,
So
but they hazed him pretty bad. So n- now when Aaron Rodgers is the man, okay, and enough so to earn Brett Favre's respect, I think he's kind of
right.
throwing a little shade at him when he calls him Farby.
Okay.
It's kind of like an inside, like, because, I mean,
Like you wouldn't have dared to do that back in the day, but it's my
not
time
even
now.
close, but I bet Favre probably called him Rook for 3 straight years.
Sure, yeah.
You know
Sure.
what I mean? You
Yeah.
like I would imagine some of the things as Favre's old school. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It wasn't mama jokes and stuff like that. It's like it was probably some raunchy and dirty crap going down. Uh, the way he
I
would
do. You
haze him.
mentioned the McAfee show early, and I like watching that.
Well, Rodgers gets on
And
there every
Eric,
Tuesday, and I try and use
right,
that
and
as
I
like a
would say
little,
that
format for this show.
right, I would say that Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than old Brett.
I will say so too.
Brett's the best interview ever. I used to watch Brett's press conferences as a kid,
Oh
and
yeah.
Brett gives the best press
See, I
conferences.
kind
He's
of
just
liked
joking.
McCarthy interviews too because McCarthy will get fired up and he'll take a fine for
Oh
saying something about a ref. It's-
yeah, no, I mean McCarthy didn't care, and he's kind of a good old boy, so
yeah,
they
yeah.
don't care.
No, and
But and
that's why
Brett's kind of a good old
That's why
boy,
Favre's such a good interview. He's gonna tell you anything anything that's on his mind. He don't
right?
give a crap. He doesn't say it.
Right. Yep.
Well,
I just saying Brett set the standard for interviews really really high.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I think we're gonna try and wrap this up. We've been
Cool.
at this a good minute. I'd like
Yep.
to thank everybody for watching this show. I wish that Hollis could have been with us here tonight. He's just got a lot of stuff going on, a bunch of kids. He'll be with us next week for our next episode. Um, Anybody that you'd like to give a shout out, a happy holidays to?
Yeah, I want to give out a shout out to everybody in Talkeetna. I love you guys. I miss you, and I can't wait to see you next time.
All right, man. Gonzo, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you.
Hey,
Uh,
I got one more thing.
yeah.
Saw you posting you looking for Warzone players. We gotta do that, man.
Oh yeah, get me on Warzone. I'll hit you up as soon as we finish this up, and I'll get you on some Warzone.
Cool,
All right, guys. If you want
cool.
to subscribe, click right here. If you want to watch our last video, click right over there. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.